Hello and welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Today's video is a quick tips video, quick tips for screen printing. I thought since we just did a video about how to clean your manual rotary textile screen printing press, how to clean off all the spray tack, lint, and ink or any other dirt and debris that gets collected on your press during use, I thought since we did that, we should talk about lubrication of your press, okay? And how to go through and lubricate different parts of the press, especially the print heads and the micro registration themselves, okay? Now, as far as your center pole, your center post, which is responsible for rotation of both the print head carousel and the print station carousel, well, that one may or may, there's a couple different ways it could be lubricated. There may be a nipple for a grease gun that you attach the grease gun to the nipple and then, squeeze the grease into a chamber. Others may need to be taken apart and bearing grease put in on the bearing ring itself. So, but for the most part, if it's rotating fairly well and it's not, like stiff, that is like one of the last things we lubricate. We're more about talking about on the print head itself and in the areas that get a lot of usage and, after cleaning with solvents and such, after you clean and maintain it, we want to make sure they're re-lubricated. So we're going to be lubricating parts of the press that come very close or perhaps into contact with the screen printed product itself, the t-shirt. So you have to be very careful not to over lubricate and leave excess grease or oils or WD-40 or 3-in-1 oil or anything like that, too much of it in excess, so that when you're putting the shirt on the pallet and working and printing, it doesn't get on the shirt. So be very careful of that and pay close attention to that when you're lubricating the press. Don't get it everywhere. Be very, sparingly I think is what the word would be, and try to keep it under control. Now, for lubricating your manual rotary screen printing textile press, you can use a few things. WD-40 is good, especially for cleaning out, or rinsing out, or washing out, or flooding out sections that may have some spray tack in there or anything like that, because this will also act as a bit of a solvent. And with the spray nozzle, that I have one here, this can kind of jet it out and clean it out, and that's always good to use as a first step. 3-in-1 oil is an excellent lubrication for threaded bolts and parts like micro registration. White lithium grease in the tube or in the can is also very good for your brackets which hold down your screen clamps. Okay, so I don't know. Why don't we start with that? It's getting hot in the shop, so I apologize. I'm going to get a little sweaty here, but let's look at the each one by one, and we'll lubricate the screen clamps first. Okay, so to lubricate your threaded screen clamps, it's very tedious, and I like to use the tube of white lithium grease, and you're going to have to squeeze a little bit out by hand and get it up on the top portion. Now notice that how I have the clamp all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so I have the clamp all the way down to the bottom, and I'm putting some grease, a little bit extra, on there like so. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually thread these upwards, and that will pull the grease through all the way where I want it to be. And sorry, I don't mean to move the head out of the way, but basically it goes through and lubes through the entire threading. And then what you can do okay, is on your way back down, as you want to put it back into the right position. You put a little bit more on there by hand, okay, and now we're going to thread it back down just to a semi position of somewhere about where it would be, and that's it. It's lubed up. And then you'd have to go back and be careful and make sure, use a rag and wipe any grease that you might have gotten anywhere, any stray areas, okay? Okay, so we did the screen clamps. The next thing that we're going to look at for lubrication is the micro registration. Okay, so let's move in close up and take a look at taking care of the lubrication and cleaning and maintenance of your micro registration. Alright, so the micro registration is pretty simple to lubricate and keep clean. I like to use a little bit of the WD-40 to clean it a little bit. I use it more as a solvent, you know, and then in this case you'd have to, you know, the lubrication is very tedious. You have to loosen it up and basically go back and forth and get some of that lubrication in there, okay? So it's a tedious job, the lubrication, and after I did this, I probably would wipe it down with a little bit of paper towel, and then I might follow with a drop of 3-in-1 oil on each spot, and then do it again, you know, each spot, little drop of 3-in-1 oil here, 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 and here, and then, you know, thread them back and forth, you know, as much as I can, or as much as you know, before I get bored or tired of doing it, go all the way in and out, both ways, and lube it up well. And then, of course, this is a perfect time that you're going to zero out your micro registration. So once you're done lubricating, you're going to want to zero out the micro registration. Now, for this part here, where the micro reg comes in contact with the plate, there would be a little bit of lithium grease, but you have to take the micro reg apart. So I'd have to take this bolt off here and this little piece here off, and then put a little swab of white lithium grease underneath there, and that would be good for that, you know. Otherwise, this is, you know, again, you could just a little WD-40 to keep things nice and smooth on there, and that's about it. So close that up. So right now I would zero out the head and then close it up. So that's it. One other thing you want to maybe perhaps lubricate are your steel roller wheels, if you have such, or any kind of rolling wheels here. You just want to make sure, because they're going to get a lot of spray tack, so you want to make sure these are cleaned well and then lubricated however you can. But because of the position it's in, be very careful that you don't leave too much oil or residue that when the shirt's loaded, it'll get on the shirt. Alright, so for the little rollers, one of the best things you can do, because they get so much spray tack, is to flush them out. So you're really going to flush them out, okay, and get them to go. And then, you know, it's really hard to get oil in there, so ideally if you know, you have problems still with it, you can actually take them off and put them in a little cup of oil for a minute and let the oil get into the, you know, get in there. But as you can see right there, actually the flushing with the WD-40 did a nice job of freeing up spray tack. And now, obviously, make sure you have to wipe it down. You almost have to clean it twice, don't you, when you're maintaining your press? First you clean it, then you lube it, then you got to wipe it down and clean it again. So that's how it is. Alright, and lastly, you know, you could lubricate your screen angle and some of the other off-contact adjustment bolts with a little bit of 3-in-1 oil if you like. That could be a good thing to do, especially, you know, over a long-term ownership of a machine like this. The more clean you keep it and the minter it is, and the better it performs for you, the easier time you'll have printing your jobs. So I think that's it for today. So that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate you guys' attention. Please subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. I really need your support to continue to produce these free educational videos on YouTube. And comment below, rate thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching.